Hi everyone and welcome to our channel. Thank you to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified about new amazing videos. Today's video is about the whole truth of the death of Kobe Bryant and his daughter. On January 26, 2020, a Sikorsky S-76B helicopter crashed in Calabasas, California, around 30 miles, 48 kilometers, northwest of Los Angeles, en route from John Wayne Airport to Camarillo, California. It was carrying former basketball player Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, 6 family friends including baseball coach John Altobelli and his wife and daughter, and the pilot. All 9 on board were killed. The helicopter was en route to Bryant's basketball academy when it crashed. It had been given approval to fly in foggy weather. Bryant frequently used the helicopter to avoid Los Angeles traffic. It was previously owned by the state of Illinois, which used the helicopter to transport governors and other officials. Illinois sold the helicopter in 2015, according to FAA and California Secretary of State records. The helicopter was registered to the Island Express Holding Corporation, based in Fillmore, California. It was not generally known in the aftermath of the crash whether Bryant had chartered the aircraft or leased it full-time. The aircraft did not have a flight data recorder, FDR. Helicopters in the U.S. are not required to carry them. The helicopter was also not equipped with a terrain awareness and warning system, TAWS, although the NTSB recommended that all helicopters equipped with 6 or more passenger seats be equipped with a TAWS after a 2004 S-76A crash. The FAA did not implement the recommendation. The crash. On January 26, 2020, at 9:06 a.m. PST, 17:06 UTC, Bryant departed from John Wayne Airport, SNA, in Orange County, California, in a 1991 Sikorsky S-76B helicopter, registration N72X, along with 8 other people, his 13-year-old daughter Gianna, her 13-year-old teammates Alyssa Altobelli and Peyton Chester and their parents Carrie and John Altobelli, head baseball coach at Orange Coast College, and Sarah Chester, basketball assistant coach Christina Mauser, and pilot Ara Zabayan. They were heading to a basketball game at Bryant's Mamba Sports Academy in Newbury Park, where Bryant was scheduled to coach Gianna's team. Flight records showed that the helicopter had flown the same journey the day before without incident to Camarillo Airport, CMA, a small airport about 20 minutes by car from Mamba Sports Academy. The previous day's flight had taken only 30 minutes. In contrast, driving from Bryant's home in Newport Beach to the academy would have taken at least 2 hours. The Los Angeles Police Air Support Division had grounded its police helicopters on the morning of January 26 because of the poor weather conditions. Air Support Division rules require at least 2 miles, 3,2 km, of visibility and an 800-foot, 240 m, cloud ceiling. At the time that N72X took off from SNA, visibility was 5 miles, 8,0 km, with a cloud ceiling of 1,300 feet, 400 m, and it was operating under Visual Flight Rules, VFR. Flying through clouds is possible if a pilot elects to operate under Instrument Flight Rules, IFR, but according to a former pilot for Island Express and FAA records, the company's pilots were not allowed to fly under IFR, even if the company's rules had permitted so. Flying under IFR would have led to lengthy delays and detours, thereby using up any anticipated time savings. Because of severe congestion in Los Angeles-controlled airspace, Bryant's celebrity status would not have given the helicopter priority in this airspace. Because visual flight rules prohibit a pilot from flying into or near clouds, the helicopter ascended to an altitude of 800 feet, 240 m, while flying northwest from SNA on most of its previous flights to Camarillo. The helicopter had turned west at downtown Los Angeles and flown over the Santa Monica Mountains until it picked up the Ventura Freeway, US 101, but on January 26, that was not an option for VFR flights because of a deep marine layer which had pushed fog from the Pacific Ocean into the Santa Monica Mountains. Instead, the helicopter continued northwest, passed over Boyle Heights near Dodger Stadium and began following the route of the Golden State Freeway, I-5. As the flight approached Glendale, air traffic controllers had the helicopter circle in a holding pattern for 11 minutes starting at 9:21 a.m., 1721 UTC, before granting it permission to proceed into the controlled airspace around Burbank Airport. Burbank controllers granted clearance under special VFR, requiring the pilot to stay under 2,500 feet, 760 m, altitude. After proceeding through the Burbank controlled airspace, the flight turned west, following the Ronald Reagan Freeway, SR 118, as it passed into the Van Nuys Airport controlled airspace. The Van Nuys controllers shortly afterward approved a turn southwest towards the Ventura Freeway, US 101, at 9:39 a.m., 1739 UTC. Pilot Arazabayan then acknowledged the handoff to Southern California Air Traffic Control, in a press conference. NTSB member Jennifer Homendy stated the pilot then advised air traffic control he was putting the aircraft into a climb to avoid a cloud layer. This was the last transmission made by the pilot. By 9:42 a.m., 1742 UTC, the helicopter had arrived at and started following the Ventura Freeway west, entering more hilly terrain at the western edge of the San Fernando Valley. As the ground started to rise, the helicopter went into a climb, gaining 1,000 feet, 300 m, of altitude in 36 seconds, at 9:44 a.m., 1744 UTC. In response to a request from the pilot, Southern California Air Traffic Control advised the helicopter it was too close to terrain for flight following, a tracking service that would have provided the VFR flight with continuous verbal updates on air traffic according to transponder data. The helicopter first entered a climbing turn to the left, taking a southern heading and peaking at an altitude of 2,300 feet, 700 m. The helicopter then made a descending turn further to the left, taking a southeast heading. The helicopter entered a dive at 9 hours 45 minutes and 15 seconds a.m., 1745 UTC, descending at a rate of 4,000 to 5,000 feet per minute, 20 to 25 m/s, with a speed of 160 knots, 300 km per hour, before it struck the hill at 9 hours 45 minutes and 39 seconds a.m., at an elevation of approximately 1,400 feet, 430 m. The helicopter crashed and caught fire in Calabasas, California, near the intersection of Las Virgenes Road and Willow Glen Street, as reported by a 9-1-1 emergency call at 9:47 a.m., 1747 UTC. The crash occurred on a hillside behind the headquarters of the Las Virgenes Municipal Water District. The hillside is part of a small valley that is technically the upper end of Malibu Canyon. Residents in the vicinity on mountain bikes witnessed the crash and called 9-1-1. Weather conditions were reported to be foggy. Witnesses reported that the helicopter's engine was sputtering before the crash. Others reported seeing the helicopter flying into the ground at a fairly significant rate of speed. It is unclear whether a distress call was made. The crash started a 14-acre, 1,000 square meters, brush fire that was difficult to extinguish because of the presence of magnesium. Los Angeles County Fire Department firefighters responded to the scene and extinguished the fire by 10:30. The debris from the crash was scattered on steep terrain over a field estimated to extend 500 to 600 feet, 150 to 180 m. Firefighters hiked to the site and paramedics rappelled from a helicopter to the scene but could not locate any survivors. All 9 occupants of the helicopter were killed in the crash. At 11:24 a.m., less than 2 hours after the crash, TMZ was the first news source to confirm Bryant's death. TMZ was later criticized at a local law enforcement press conference for reporting the story before the local law enforcement had the opportunity for the coroner's office to confirm the identity of occupants and officially inform families. Los Angeles County Sheriff Alex Villanueva stated, "It would be extremely disrespectful to understand that your loved one had perished and you learn through TMZ." At 2:30 p.m., the Los Angeles County Sheriff and Los Angeles County Fire Department held a joint press conference detailing initial aspects of the crash. Los Angeles County Fire Chief Darrell Osby confirmed the Federal Aviation Administration and the National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, were on the scene investigating. A GO team consisting of 18 people, including specialists and investigators from the NTSB, arrived in the evening to search for a flight recorder. As a result of the crash, an investigation was launched into Lockheed Martin Sikorsky S-76B. At 8:00 p.m., the Los Angeles County Sheriff, LA, County Fire Department, and LA, County Department of Medical Examiner Coroner held another joint press conference. The sheriff urged people to stay away, because people had flooded into residential neighborhoods around the crash site and the traffic was getting in the way of first responders. The FAA imposed a 5-mile no-fly zone around the crash site up to an altitude of 5,000 feet. The coroner was able to initially remove the remains of 3 of the 9 victims overnight. In response to attempts at unauthorized access during the first evening after the crash, the sheriff assigned deputies to patrol the rugged terrain on horseback and all-terrain vehicles in order to enforce a secure perimeter and prevent access by souvenir hunters. It was reported the following day that the pilot was told that he was at a too low level for flight following, which he had apparently requested, by air traffic controllers moments before the helicopter crashed into the hillside. This means that the helicopter was too low to be tracked by air traffic control, but does not necessarily mean that it was too low to fly safely. By January 29, all 9 bodies had been recovered from the crash site. Bryant's body was identified through fingerprints. Autopsies were conducted on January 28. Reactions. Around 200 people gathered at the foot of the hill close to the crash, with many wearing Bryant's jersey and holding basketballs. People also formed an impromptu memorial at the Staples Center, where the Los Angeles Lakers, the team with whom Bryant had spent his entire professional career, play. Just hours before the arena was scheduled to host the Grammy Awards, during the ceremony, host Alicia Keys and Boyz II Men performed It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday in tribute to Bryant, and other performers, including Lil Nas X, Lizzo, Run DMC, Aerosmith, and DJ Khaled, incorporated tributes to Bryant in their performances. Bryant's 2 retired jerseys hanging in the rafters of the Staples Center were illuminated with a spotlight. Fans created a memorial for Bryant outside of the Kobe Bryant Gymnasium at Lower Merion High School in Ardmore, Pennsylvania, which Bryant attended from 1992 to 1996. Jerseys, dedicated basketballs, teddy bears, flowers and candles were all laid down to memorialize Bryant. Landmarks across the United States, including Los Angeles International Airport, Madison Square Garden and the Empire State Building, and around the world, were lit purple and gold in Bryant's memory. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said in a statement, "The NBA family is devastated by the tragic passing of Kobe Bryant and his daughter, Gianna. For 20 seasons, Kobe showed us what is possible when remarkable talent blends with an absolute devotion to winning. He was one of the most extraordinary players in the history of our game with accomplishments that are legendary, but he will be remembered most for inspiring people around the world to pick up a basketball and compete to the very best of their ability. He was generous with the wisdom he acquired and saw it as his mission to share it with future generations of players, taking special delight in passing down his love of the game to Gianna." Greg Downer, Bryant's high school basketball coach, was completely shocked and devastated by the news and was too distraught to speak to the media. Downer coached Bryant at Lower Merion High School in suburban Philadelphia from 1992 to 1996 and won the state championship with Bryant in 1996. Michael Jordan, to whom Bryant was often compared, said in a statement, "Words can't describe the pain I am feeling. I loved Kobe. He was like a little brother to me. We used to talk often, and I will miss those conversations very much. He was a fierce competitor, one of the greats of the game and a creative force." Shaquille O'Neal, Bryant's Lakers teammate from 1996 to 2004 and with whom he shared a friendship and later a heavily publicized feud, said that he was sick and had no words to express the pain. Several NBA teams paid tribute to Bryant during their games that night with intentional on-court violations referring to his uniform numbers. Violations of the 24-second shot clock and the rule requiring teams to advance the ball past midcourt within 8 seconds. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar posted a video on Twitter expressing his condolences. LeBron James, who had passed Bryant on the list of NBA career scoring leaders the previous night and had spoken to Bryant on the morning of the accident, posted a statement on Instagram, saying, "I'm heartbroken and devastated. I promise you I'll continue your legacy." Jerry West, Laker great and general manager who had orchestrated the deal to acquire Bryant for the Lakers, said that, "I think the thing that resonates with me most, one person with one name, Kobe, you wouldn't have to mention his last name, and that it was the saddest day of his life to learn that the families in the helicopter crash had died." Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban said that the number 24 will never again be worn by a Dallas Maverick. Several NBA players previously wearing Bryant's uniform numbers decided to change to new numbers in honor of Bryant. Gianna Bryant was a fan of the UConn Huskies women's basketball team and had attended multiple games, and she had hoped to attend and play for the university. UConn tweeted an image of a jersey and flowers placed on their bench with the tribute message, "A Husky Forever." AC Milan, Bryant's favorite soccer team growing up, wore black armbands in memory of him in their Coppa Italia match against Torino on January 28. A minute of silence was also held before the match. Many soccer players and teams paid tribute to Bryant during matches and on social media. The NBA postponed the Los Angeles Lakers game against the Los Angeles Clippers that had been scheduled for January 28, 2 days after the tragedy. Many Major League Baseball, National Football League and National Hockey League players, teams, and other organizations memorialized Bryant in the immediate aftermath of the crash. Many players took time in the 2020 Pro Bowl to pay their respect to Bryant in the form of prayers and celebration tributes. WWE paid tribute to Bryant during its 2020 Royal Rumble pay-per-view, and many professional wrestlers expressed their condolences for the Bryant family. Many ATP Tour tennis players paid tribute to Bryant during the 2020 Australian Open, including Novak Djokovic, who noted, "He was one of the greatest athletes of all time. He inspired myself and many other people around the world." U.S. President Donald Trump, former U.S. Presidents Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, California Governor Gavin Newsom, Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti and other American politicians all expressed their condolences.
Thank you for watching. Kindly don't forget to click on the button below to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified about the newest videos.